it's about 60% as dangerous or as active as enriched uranium. This is the type of filthy criminal we have in our government. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president. When it's depleted, it's about 60% as dangerous or as active as enriched uranium. It pumps out 20,000 pulses a second. It pumps out 20,000 pulses a second. So when your skin gets, when it's depleted, it's about 60% as dangerous or as active as enriched uranium. It pumps out 20,000 pulses a second. So when your skin gets hit by these pulses, it just goes into pus, into boil. And you see these pictures of these guys who've been affected by uranium. Their heads just sort of blow off on the top. These babies get born with one eye, no arms. The half-life of that uranium waste is 4.5 billion years. The actions that George Bush and the United States, which has your name on it, has taken, has caused the world's largest ecological disaster ever, which will continue killing people for billions of years in the most heinous fashion possible. If you're paying taxes, you're funding it. And you, according to their own law, if you fund terrorism, are a terrorist. And that's very serious, because we're going to start seeing other nations arresting American tourists and say, did you pay the IRS taxes? And if you say yes, you're going to see these foreign nations carting you off to jail. This is also quite astonishing in regard to that Gulf War. If you go to our Liberty for Life site, we will link you up to official Department of Veterans Affairs report regarding our veterans. Now the government and the Rothschild media, the mainstream media, is trying to tell us that 4,000 troops are dead. However, you actually go to the official source, the Department of Veterans Affairs, download their August 2007 Department of Veterans Affairs Gulf War Veterans Information System report. And that report will show you that 6.8 million United States troops have partook in the Gulf War since 1990. And then a few lines down, it'll give you another very important number. It'll tell you the number of estimated living veterans today as of August 2007. And that number is a shocking 4.5 million. Do the math. 6.8 minus 4.5, 2.3 million United States troops are dead from the Gulf War. That includes natural causes. However, someone who was in active duty in 1990 is not dead from old age by the year 2007. 2.3 million United States troops are dead. Americans don't want to know that number, but that's the facts. And further down in that report, you'll also find out that 1.2 million of our troops who partook in that Gulf War are already classified as disabled. Add the dead and disabled, 3.5 million dead and disabled United States troops. Why? Because we're using weapons of mass destruction, the most heinous war ever, and created by George Bush, Cheney, and this criminal enterprise, who are directly associated with Hitler, Stalin, and all the other criminal enterprises over the period, funded by the Rothschilds and their bank, using the Hegelian dialectic process to create wars. And this is what's going on. If you, an American, can stand up and kick someone out of government who's a filthy criminal like that, understand what they're doing to their own. The United States troops, 3.5 million of them, are dead and disabled. They're their henchmen. That's how they treat their own. They're going to be doing the same thing to you. It's a matter of sooner or later. Let's get these criminals out of government and prosecute them for the crimes that they've committed. Now, CopperCards is actually putting together the lawful process of how to form a common law court. A common law court is run by the people for the people. On the construct, the preamble of the great United States Constitution, which starts with "we the people." You form your court. You do your your quo warranto process, where you, each one of you, and everyone who's a real part of interest, can go and challenge any criminal in our government with a quo warranto process. Form a jury, which is a lawful jury. You don't have any judicial involvement in it because the judges are part and parcel of the crime. The 11th Amendment precludes them from any judicial power. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president. And it's important to understand that they're filthy criminals, like our president.